What's up, y'all? So before high school, which was the first time I lifted, I my workout was like a lot of push-ups and running. Why? Because I wanted to have a big bench, but since I wasn't even lifting yet, I was like 13, 14. I was like, well, I'm going to do a lot of push-ups. And I would do push-ups and run because I guess I thought being better in training meant a big bench press and running for football, I guess. Running good for football, but bench, I don't know. And then I had this stint between high school and when I got serious in Olympic lifting, where in college I would go there and just do bro split. I don't even know if it was split. It's basically bench press. Uh, there was a time I was doing 5 days a week, and then curls, and then at one time I tried to. In that phase, I squatted and I was sore for like a week, and I guess I deserved it. So, if you can't tell, there's a lot more parts to your body than just your bench or your chest. But then I feel like people get confused. They're like, well, what do I pick? I'm talking about from people that are kind of just starting. I think everybody should strength train, or people that, uh, people that think, well, I want to look better, but they think they have to copy the marathon to failure workouts that bodybuilders have to do. So, what do you do? I had notes, but they're over there, but I'll just tell you. So, what you need to do is, I would say, if you're a beginner or if you haven't gone through this process, you just need to focus on movement patterns. And I heard that phrase from Dan John first, and then Mark Ripito mentions it. Don't blast me for mentioning starting strength, but basically, you think about what a human being can do, okay? The movement pattern, it's not muscles. You just think about what you can do. People can squat down, push stuff away, pull stuff towards them with their upper body, hinge, which is picking stuff up, and then the gait pattern, which is, we'll just simplify it. Think about like walking. So when you have those few things, you want to find something that obeys that. Okay. I'm just going to say now that like most things work. If people are kind of like, well, that's more of a beginner program, I would challenge slash encourage you to follow that until it doesn't work for you anymore. And then at that point, you move on to something else. Uh, I wasn't going to list programs, but I just will because just I've been in it for a while. Honestly, this is what I would tell myself like 20 years ago. And it's something that we kind of did in football. In high school, we had a 4 day a week upper body, or what was it? I think it was upper then lower, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday. And it was really basic. It was like 5 sets of 5, and you can just add weight. And even doing that just over the summers and then winter before spring, my lifts got pretty high and I wasn't even thinking about it. And I'm sure it's like, well, you were young, yes, but then at the same time, it's just you want to just try to make things harder over time as long as possible. Um, so that being said, find programs that where you do that. I would say most things work. It's hard to know if someone's a beginner because it's like, well, you put them on a bodybuilding routine, there will be weight added at some point, right? But you don't know if it's just because the program is good or that person's a beginner and they get goodness out of it anyway. Uh, I I like being well rounded, so I'm doing starting strength again, or you could even think of strong lifts. And then when you get into things like 531, that's like a monthly. You have to customize it a lot, but just read the books and figure it out. But I think most people can do well by pushing themselves in the beginning because if you're confused, if you don't know where to start, you can actually recover faster. Only because you don't have like a true max. All right. So when you go into the gym, you do a set of 5 on a few sets of 5 on a squat. You don't have a max yet, and you may get a little dip, but then you'll recover, and there's enough time 2 days later to recover. Now that's if you're just getting started. And then if, obviously, of course, that's people that bash on the linear progression. It doesn't. You only go on there for a month or two. Even if you're coming from a layoff, you just get back to where you were. And then, of course, things will slow down to like weekly and then monthly. And then you got to start planning like 8-week blocks, right? The thing that got you from a 95 to a 200-pound squat will not work from a 400 to 500. Okay. I think we can all agree on that. And then as far as body weight is concerned, um, again, anything works, but keep it as simple as possible. Things like combat conditioning is good. I know the rep scheme for that is they get pretty high, but use your best judgment. What's important on the body weight is progression. Okay. An example I wrote in the article was if you do wall push-ups for like 20, you don't have to take it to 100. Like at some point you need to go like knees and then to the floor. And then I did say the gait pattern, and that stuff, Dan John throws that in there. He does a lot of loaded carries where you either like take a kettlebell, hold it up here, hold it by your side as a farmer carry, or hold it however, and you just walk, because walking is something that people, you trained it as a baby. You crawled a lot. Actually, now if you did that, it'd probably be hard, but you crawled a lot and to be able to walk. And then now that we can walk, our average steps are like 3,000 to 4,000 a day. So at least walk more. If you want to amplify it, I got kettlebells down here. You can't see it. Do some carries. And that's it. So I say this for my past self because, and I know there's all this like science-based trauma, but the basic principles apply. And since most people are beginners, all right, I'm not talking about the like guys in their 20s that are already hitting elite numbers. I think most people should strength train. So if that's the case, and most people are beginners, just follow the basics until it obviously till it starts to slow down, and then move on from there. So I have had a list, but like if you think of the squat, or I should say any barbell movement, you just progress. All right. It's going to be either 3-day week to weekly to monthly to, at that point, you should probably find something else and stick with it. But body weight, as an example on the push, you start against the wall, you go to your knees, you go against the floor. Maybe you set up rings and start working on dips. Okay. But, you don't have to be, if you want to get stronger, things need to get harder. So that does not mean you need to get down and do sets of 100 push-ups, because that's a lot of time. You don't need that much time. So that's it. As far as like the debate, what to pick, anything works, but you need to research the principles first so you can kind of sniff out what is good or what's not good, in quotes. Anything is good, but like what applies the most muscle for what you're doing so that you're not wasting your time. So that's it. I wrote an article on this. I'll post it. But thanks for watching. Low budget setup. I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe. Bye.